Well, first of all, full disclosure, I don't use to stream videos or anything like that, but something happened over the weekend. We were running the Suzuka 10 hours. It was at the very beginning of the race, and actually I was kind of testing before due to another YouTuber called, actually it's a driver from Brazil called Victor Jens. You can look for him. And one of his videos was around you should train the unexpected, right? So here's what happened. We were on lap number 3 on a 10-hour race. So it actually was like 9 hours and 64 minutes remaining on the Suzuka 10 hours. I was the one driving. I was approaching the 130 yard. The video is not great, this one, but I have another ones. And then this happened, right? So I posted here, as you can see, um, a little bit of unlucky, but how will it end, right? So because you may get shunted to one place or the other. But one thing that I've started practicing due to, and you can see the outcome here, due to this YouTube video, the approach should be uh, consider you're racing a real car, right? And if you happen to race, I don't know, go-karts, even for fun or for real, or in a series, if you're about to crash, you will try to avoid a crash at any point, um, simply because of the fact that it will hurt and it will cost you money, and you can hurt someone else, right? So if I go to this one, I'm going to pause it a little bit. Uh, on this onboard, you'll see I always tend to train, or every time I approach high racing sessions, here's what I do. If I spun, I try to avoid crashing. If I run wide or whatever, I don't simply release the wheel and pedals and okay, whatever, right? It won't cost me anything. So I've started doing this, as I mentioned earlier, due to Victor Jens. I saw one of his videos, and he was like, if you train for that, then when it actually happened on your race, well, you're better prepared, right? So to try to recover from that. You need a little bit of luck. If you look at what happened here, I think I run wide just like 5 inches out of like this artificial grass, and then and then I lift too much. So at the very beginning of the race, tricky conditions, the car was with full tank. It might be a little bit of idle draft from the car ahead, maybe, and I think I lift too much, so I completely lost the rear. But I use a headset, an HTC Vive headset, so I run VR. But to be honest, although it was like unexpected, my main and it's the first time that I have to test it like in real life in a race, right? So imagine calling my colleague, the other driver, saying like, "Okay, our race is over 4 minutes in the race, right?" Not fun. But if you look at the footage here, you see that I lost the car, but look at the wheel and the pedal inputs. I felt the rear snapped. I used a VRS DD Pro wheelbase. So I felt easily because of the direct drive that I lost the car. And then I tried to react to that, counter steering. So I completely, if you look at the telemetry, I completely lift off the throttle because that way, if I so the moment the car goes like this, if I back on the, I mean, if I continue on the power and if I get traction over, then I know that I will be on that wall in front of me, right? So I was trying to turn in the other end to counter steer what happened with my back was snapped. Then I was braking, easily released the braking because I didn't want, the moment I realized that, okay, now I'm pointing to where I want, I completely released the brakes, right? So you can see on this footage from the outside that I look at the tires, right? So they are quickly like braking and then not braking, and then the car got released, right? So again, a little bit of luck here, yes, for sure, you need it. Um, but My 2 cents would be practice. In every practice session you jump in, quali or whatever, if you crash, don't just let the car run and hit the wall. Uh, a friend of us on our Discord was like, quit. I also decided to make this video because a friend of us on our team decided to like kind of quit rage on the same spot. And I saw his stream. He was completely unlucky as I was. I mean, he didn't do anything like wrong or something like that. But the moment he crashed, or he was about to crash, and he lost like the rear snap, he just released the wheel. Like he completely gave up on the. And I used to do that exactly the same. So my 2 cents would be um, train for the unexpected. So don't look for crashing, right? But if you do, and you are even in a practice, maybe a solo practice, or maybe quali, or maybe like an official practice, if you do that, then train. Um, Another thing would be train coming back to pits, even though the race might not be like it's not like a VRS or ESS, EES, or IMSA or an endurance and a special event, even if it doesn't require you to go to pits, you need to practice how to where the pit entry is, where you should be um, braking. It's part of a track. So it won't hurt that if you want to run 5 laps or whatever of practice before jumping on a race or 10 laps, whatever time you have. Um, why don't do that? Why don't come back to pits to park your car? It will take you just one more lap. But if you look at the relative before that, you learn that if you're going to be quicker than the previous lap or just like the previous lap or whatever, so you don't need to run the other lap again. Um, so I hope it helps. Again, not my idea. You can look for Victor Gens, so it's VITORGENZ. Um, it's a real Brazilian stock car driving among some other categories. And also, I know he coaches virtual drivers and real drivers as well. So yeah, that would be just my 2 cents and totally credit for him. That's where I got the tips from. Happy racing.